Welcome to another interview on the Summit Mastering Emotions for Good. And I have here with me Reverend Maria Felipe, who is an international speaker, spiritual coach, and author of the best-selling book, Live Your Happy. And I have my three emotional penguins in the background as well, who support me in this interview. And I'm really proud to have you here, Maria. Thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here. When I was just thinking, you have your three emotional penguins and I have a wine cellar.
That's perfect.
I don't know what that means. But
we should bring them together at one point, and then they'll.
So you know, they're not all mine. I'm in a building where they have a wine cellar, so I'm in that room. So I don't want you guys to think, you know, that's how I deal with my emotions, is drinking all that wine. But anyhow,
we'll probably get there to what might be a way to include that, or not so much, right? So
yeah.
Well, it's great to have you. And of course, in the title of the book, the emotion happiness is there. So were you always happy all throughout your life? Or were you born that way? Or can you let us know a little bit about your journey into who you have become?
Well, that's actually a powerful question. It almost makes me cry right away, just because I am a very emotional person. And feel into things. And I feel that this topic of happiness is highly important. Well, the question is, I was born happy, and we actually all are born happy. It's not like happy, like cheerleader happiness, like, no, it's our inheritance. Course in Miracles, it's a metaphysical book about spirituality, and we can talk about that later, but it talks about how happiness is our inheritance and happiness is our function.
Yeah.
And so it is actually what we are. It's our natural way of being. It's just that we have forgotten. And then now we're supposedly experiencing this illusory world of illusions. And then we believe that all this is very real. And we're caught up in this dream that we have forgotten our birthright. And to speak to your question, yes, I was born happy, very, very happy. But as we all do, I forgot. So I did suffer a lot in this world of duality, I like to call it, of where I had mainly a lot of ups and downs, consistently looking for happiness outside of me. I'm sure we can all relate, especially in relationships. I made men my God. And if I wasn't in a relationship, I wasn't happy. Nothing was more important than a man completing me, making me feel whole and complete. Career, you know, I was a successful actress and model for many years, and I made that also my like everything for me. So it was a very, very lonely road. And I guess suffering so much, like many of us, I just got to a point that in my mid-30s, after going through a divorce from my first marriage, I was kind of in my hands and knees, and I was very destructive. I was a little bit of addiction issues with alcohol. It's so funny because we have wine back there. You know, just addictions, like even like with men, because I wanted to replace my first, my marriage was broken. So I was like trying to fill that. So it was like a lot of these types of things happening in my life. So what happens is I had already been studying this metaphysical book, The Course in Miracles, and I decided to go to ministerial school to become a minister based on The Course in Miracles, because instead of going to a counselor, I said, let me go to this school that's based on The Course in Miracles. It's like the Course in Miracles University. And that's when I started to wake up. I started to wake up, and I woke up by the practices of meditation. And I woke up with, not just through the program, but just through my own willingness. I feel that we have so much more power, superpowers, than we could imagine, just as strong as those three penguins back there. They have superpowers, right? It's like we have so much superpower that we're not even aware of. And I became aware of that because I got to a point that I was just so down that I just knew that there had to be another way. And when I said that, I began this process of awakening, of really understanding, and this is very, very important, understanding that I was sabotaging myself. I was making compromises and exceptions to the teachings that I was even doing in ministerial school. I was doing it halfway. And this is what we all do. We want to change and we want to be happy. We want to feel peace. We want to feel the emotion of joy. But this is it right here. Are you ready?
Yes, for sure.
But not really. But not really.
Not really, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we have to get. It's like, and I just got goosebumps saying that because that was my experience. It was like, I want to feel whole. I want to feel complete. I don't want to feel like I want a man outside to complete me.
Yeah.
But not really. Because
Yeah.
I still want to have ill thoughts. I still want to look for my happiness outside. There's no I am love, period. There's no I am abundance, period. It's like, I'm abundance, but I'm going to worry about money. So that's what happened. I started to wake up and I realized, oh my God, all this time I've been lying to myself. And when I recognized that I was lying to myself, I began a series of waking up of like, wow, there's something else here. There's something else here. This can't be all that's real. Suffering is not everything. I can be experienced true peace, true joy. And then that's when I started to become a teacher. That's when I stopped being an actor and TV host. That's when I became like a full-on teacher of love and peace and joy. And here I am. And I'm not going to say I don't have my moments, but I know better now. I catch myself. I don't go more down. You know, I have maybe 3 days of crucifixion and then I'm in the resurrection, you know? So that's in a nutshell. That's in a nutshell.
That's beautiful how you describe that, and it's kind of eye-opening. You're directly speaking to myself here, and hopefully to a lot of people out there as well who can hopefully connect. I think when you said that you woke up to the fact that yes, you wanted love, but not really, like, or you wanted to be connected with yourself and feel and have it all come from within, but not really. You were still kind of looking outside. And the thing is, you don't really necessarily have to know how to change that, but just to become aware that yes, actually we are lying to ourselves. I think this becoming aware is so important, isn't it? Of, you know, just waking up to, oh yes, oh, that's where I'm kind of going wrong. I can so relate to this. I'm fine. I'm fine with myself. I don't really need anybody else to make me happy. But I would like to have my girlfriend to make me happy, right?
Yeah, it's honesty. Honesty.
It's honesty, yeah.
It's honesty. It's like you say, oh no, I really want to do this paper or I really want to do this homework before I watch TV. But then you don't do it. Yeah. You just watch the TV.
Yeah.
So then what is that saying? You don't want to do the homework. And it's getting on. It's that simple. It's getting honest that you don't want to do that. And then a whole new world, you know, like the Disney song, a whole new world.
Yeah. Yes.
Of where you're like, oh my God, like that's honesty. And then maybe you get up and you turn off the TV and do the homework because you're in a more clear mind. When you have a clear mind, you make better decisions. So it's highly important, the honesty with ourselves.
Yes. I totally agree, because otherwise we just make excuses, and even saying, well, I didn't have enough time, or you know, this person called me, that's why I wasn't able to do it, or something.
That's it.
That, right? So I make excuses instead of just being honest and saying, well, actually, there's a part of me that clearly wanted to do the homework, but there's another part of me that didn't want to do it. And just waking up to the, you know, I think it also comes down to their kind of feelings that are misaligned or that are kind of fighting with each other. And before we become conscious of the inner fight that's going on, there is nothing really we can do about it, because we are constantly trying to change it on the outside, right? We're trying to change the fights on the outside while not recognizing that it's all happening on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
Does that?
What helps, I feel, is what helps is that with the emotion that you feel, there is this willingness. You know, Course in Miracles says, all I need is a little bit of willingness and miracles happen. And a miracle is a change of perception, not the miracle of the world, like, oh my God, this is a miracle. The miracle definition of the Course in Miracles is basically a change of perception from fear to love.
Yeah.
So when you have that little bit of willingness, the Course in Miracles says you can have a change of perception. In my book, Live Your Happy, which I have right here, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Isn't it beautiful?
It is. It is.
Color.
Yeah, and I saw it standing next to Eckhart Tolle's book, I think.
Yes.
And it works well. It's like almost like the same publisher or the same.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Yeah, right.
It is the same publisher. You're right.
You see, it looks beautiful. So it's really describing a new world too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's the same publisher. That was a big honor as well. But in my book, I say, all you need is a lot of big willingness, like not little, you need big, huge, big, fat willingness to say, you know what, stop it, no more.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop sabotaging myself right now. I feel this emotion of anger right now. What is it? And then I look to my thoughts. I'm like, okay, what is making me angry right now? Okay, my husband is, mean. That was recently. That's what it was. Recently, I've been saying, by the way, he's German like you. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Oh, cool.
He's from Germany. So you guys, I don't know if you know this, but you guys are a little bit harsh sometimes.
Oh, I was thinking about it right before the interview. I thought, should we go into this? That I'm, you're probably, you're Cuban American, so you're probably from a very different culture than us Germans, but you know what you're talking about now, or who you're dealing with.
I'm very easygoing, I'm very kind, I would say, right? So my husband, he's just a little bit more stern. He's like a little like moody. That's what it is. So so I make it mean that he's unkind or he's mean. That's what it is. So I feel that emotion because I'm feeling he's like snapped at me or talking rudely, which he's not. It's just part of the culture, really.
Yeah.
It really is. I've noticed in his dynamics of family as well, and I'm sure you understand this. But I make it mean that it's personal and something's wrong with me and he's being mean to me. So I'm the victim, I'm victimized. So for the people that are watching and dealing with emotions, what I do is when I feel that emotion of feeling attacked or personalizing, what I started to do was, okay, I'm responsible for this emotion. That's where I have power. So, okay, there's something that I'm thinking and believing or some valuing I'm doing in my head that I'm making this personal and this is hurting me. So I'm taking back my power. I'm responsible, okay? That's what you need to do when you start to feel these emotions, not the other person, there's something wrong with them. Okay, we'll investigate that in a second. Yeah. So the first step is responsibility. The second step that I do is to recognize, okay, is he really mean? Is he unkind? And then I look at him and I start to see him like more innocent. It's like, well, he's amazing. Like he's an amazing father. He's always there, and then I start to realize, wait a second, let me turn this around a second. I think, am I mean to me? Am I angry at myself? Am I moody to myself? Am I unkind to myself? And I'm like, oh my God, there it is.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm unkind to myself. I'm mean to myself. It's all comes from inside, and he's a reflection of that. Not saying that he's not mean. I'm not saying that that's not happening, but I'm saying that can be whatever it is. And my projection or the way that I am experiencing it could be different. So ever since I've done that, I experience him in a different way. And the Course in Miracles says everything is love and a call for love. And if he is unkind or angry, it's because there's something with him that's off and he's forgotten who he is in truth. And guess what? I do that too. Yeah. So I'm not going to judge my brother. My brother's my husband in this case, right? Because we're all one. I'm not going to judge my husband because of something that I also do. I forget. I have amnesia sometimes of who I am. I call her Maria la Loca. Maria la Loca.
La Loca, okay. I like that. That's awesome.
That's another way that we can really get over and healing our emotions is joy and laughter. It's like calling ourselves out. It's like, okay, I'm Mariela. That's who I am. And that kind of makes it playful and you start to bring more joy inside too.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that is awesome. That's very helpful. And Oh, I cannot relate at all. I mean, yeah, so we create this amnesia for that we are actually doing the same thing. And that doesn't mean that we have to forgive everything right away, or there aren't difficult situation where we have to just take it in. But victimizing ourselves doesn't usually help. And I think it's great to really, again, it comes back to honesty, to really think what's actually going on, to check the reality and see, is he really being mean, or really being mean here? Or is she just, what is he actually
Yeah.
saying, doing, and what is my part in this? And then we probably come to a better understanding of the situation, and then ourselves as well. And then the amnesia also gets taken away, or we remember who we
Remember,
really are. Yes.
I love
So, oh,
kind of,
hello.
I feel the
Yeah.
visual is like kind of lifting the veil of illusion. So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, hold on a second. Like there's something behind this instead of, the egoic part of our mind, which is the loveless mind, not the love
Mm-hmm.
filled mind. The love filled mind is our higher self, our true self. When I'm in the loveless mind, what happens is my perception is distorted.
Yeah.
So I believe that the ego wants to be right and not
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I could be right here and look, I am unworthy. I am unkind. So let me have evidence, because the ego's a scavenger dog. Let me sniff evidence and look, oh, you are unworthy, or you are not worth it. Look, your husband is unkind. He's a
Yeah.
jerk. Like, there you go. He points the finger outside,
Mm-hmm.
because the cause is here and the effect is outside.
Yeah.
So all the cause is always inside yourself, and the effect is out there. So when you're trying to change the effect, it doesn't work, because where it's really coming from, and this is very deep, obviously, but you guys can handle it if I'm saying it. If not, I wouldn't be saying it. Obviously, this is happening for a reason, but you have to come back to where everything is the source, which is your thoughts and beliefs and values being projected outside. But the
Mm.
ego would be like, oh, no, 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 this is the problem. This is the problem. It's like an endless
Yeah.
search
Yeah.
for your
Yeah.
freedom,
Yeah.
where you can never find it.
Yeah. Wow. And of course, we can look outside and change things, but that's just exchanging one thing for another that's kind of the same. So it doesn't really
Yeah.
change the way then life unfolds. But when we get to the cause inside, then we can actually make it happen, make a change happen that will also unfold on the outside, right? So how do you're talking about the inner guidance or inner teacher a little bit, and so how can we actually get to the cause, and how can we maybe use an inner teacher, or what would you suggest to do there? How can we connect to an inner wisdom that might be there?
Well, I mean, the first thing that's coming up for me as you're saying that is to recognize that, for a long time we've been forgetting, and for a long time we've been thinking and believing in a certain way. We've been looking for our answers outside.
Yeah.
We don't know or believe that there is anything other than what we see in front of us or our eyes show us.
Yeah.
So what I want to offer is, what about the opposite of that? We're really good at sabotaging. We're really good at listening to "you're not enough." We're
Mm.
really good at listening to "you can't do this." We're really good at listening to, and like just being automatic. It's like thoughts are automatic, and they come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's the part of the mind that's loveless. That's the part of the mind. The Course in Miracles says that the mind has been split. And that part is of the body. That part is, I'm a body, I'm Maria, I'm separate.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing to know, is that obviously we're really good at that. Really, really good. So if you can be good at that, this is what I teach, is let's kind of play on the other side. Like let's play opposite day. How
Mm-hmm.
about easy is normal, not hard? How about happiness is normal and not sadness? How about, because we're so good at the other one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what the Course in Miracles teaches, and my teachings is that there's another part that is the answer to the egoic thought system. So we have ego
Yeah.
and love, right? So the love-filled mind is the answer to the egoic mind, and the love-filled mind inside of us is actually the memory of what we truly are but have forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that love-filled mind is in everyone. It's in you. It's in everyone that's watching. Is that part of you that you know, It's that part of you that at some point has been tender. I'm sure you've experienced it, or some sort of just complete peace. That's the opposite of what you have normally lived as, okay?
Yeah.
So how you connect to the love-filled mind is, well, first is watching this and understanding and saying, okay, well, yeah, there has to be an opposite of this, you know? That's like a little bit of awakening there as it is. And then you start to ask. It's incredible. I do this process with a lot of people. I do channeling with people all the time, of where I have them, you know, sit down and just ask a question, you know, what's your name? You know, I don't know. How about I ask you, what's your name? Let's say.
Karsten.
What?
Karsten.
Karsten. Okay.
Yeah.
Karsten. Okay. Karsten, what are you? You can say, I am love.
I am love. Yeah.
Okay. And then I can say to you, where are you? And you can say to me, I'm in the mind of love.
Oh, I'm in the mind of love.
I'm in the mind of love. So just take that in, you know, I'm in the mind of love, right? And then I'm going to ask you, is there anything that's on your mind right now that, you know, maybe you're losing a little peace over, or just a question you want to have clarity on? It could be about the summit. I don't know. What do you need clarity on?
Oh, I mean,
any question, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So, there is a person in my life that I would kind of like to have more of a clear relationship to.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I would like to have more of a healthy relationship.
Okay, good. So the question would be, I would like insights on this relationship, or maybe insights on this relationship.
Yeah, insights on the relationship would be very good.
You just see how excited you got. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want.
All right, so close your eyes real quick. Okay. This is super easy, and this is what people can do at home, actually. So
yeah, everybody can join in.
You again, what are you? And you'll say love.
Love.
Where are you? In the mind of love.
Mind of love.
Okay, so just take a deep breath there. And I want you to just trust in that voice. And then I want you to ask your inner wisdom, your higher self, maybe it has some insights on the relationship and what you receive. Just say it. Do you have any answers on the insights of the relationship? Just whatever comes spontaneously.
What comes spontaneously is I'm doing the right thing, kind of like, and things are settling in the right way without me having to do much about it. I am living my truth. Things will fall into place. So beautiful. There's nothing to worry about, kind of. That's what I'm getting.
And it's just like, do you feel it? It's just like,
yeah. It's a relief that I feel here. It's like, oh yeah, I don't have to do that. I am doing what I'm doing, and that's perfect. That's enough.
Yeah. So
it's
that's
actually helpful.
And people can actually do this at home. Just close your eyes and ask. Sometimes you might be like, I'm not getting anything. Is there something wrong with me? Then say that. I'm not getting anything. Is there something wrong with me? And you try again. But it's just like starting to get that confidence. Like you go to the gym and you work out, you know, you start to build that spiritual musculature in your mind. But you saw how it was very natural. And then some people say, well, how do I know that I'm not BSing myself? Maybe you are, I don't know. But hey, this way is a lot better than the other way.
For sure. That's, I think what made a difference is when you said, you know, you are love, or I am love, and I'm in the mind of love. It sets the tone in a different way. And then, you know, you're right. Even if I was bullshitting myself, there's certainly I could feel the relief. So that's definitely better than the other way. Right?
It really isn't BS. Yeah. It's the other part that's the BS, actually. But we really think it's real. That's the thing. I agree. But I think it's okay to get honest about that. Say, well, I think this is BS, but it feels good. So why don't I just keep on playing with that? So it's super powerful. And as you should see, like, even when you see the video, there was a sense of you really giving that moment, and then you can feel it because you feel it in the video. You'll see, and then you start to say these things, and it's very comforting. You're like, wow, that just feels right. And you should have seen how effortless it was. You weren't like trying to figure the words out. You were like, no, this feels like this.
It just came.
And I want everybody to know that it doesn't sound like kumbaya. It doesn't sound like, oh, hallelujah, Ave Maria, or nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's just you speaking to yourself in a way. And it just feels good. It feels really good. Talking about emotions, this is like a really good, it feels really good emotionally.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I agree that, of course, I have some practice in this, but some days I can connect better, and some days I cannot connect as well. But having a guide like you or somebody like you guiding me, and when I don't know what to expect, usually comes very naturally, very easily. And in this case, it was really just those words coming up, and I don't know where they came from. So I wasn't judging myself. I wasn't thinking too much about those words. So I just spoke them as you asked me. Those what's coming up, and I think from my experience, that's how when it's usually true or when it's helpful is when we stop judging ourselves and judging what's coming up. Because even if it was, I think the only bullshit that could come up is when it's too convoluted, when it's too much thinking about the thinking, and then again thinking about the thinking that we're thinking. But when we just have one word or one sentence come up, it's usually very on the spot and helpful. So that's just from my experience. So yeah, so for people who might be in a little bit more turmoil, or who might have difficulty kind of getting into tuning into themselves, is there anything you could recommend to them, especially in this day and age, around this time with the pandemic going on, and especially a lot of fear coming up, and a lot of kind of emotional turmoil coming up? What do you recommend to people who just think, I just don't feel happy at the moment. I just don't feel relaxed right now. What would you recommend for them to do?
Well, I've been a couple of years ago. I found the work of Byron Katie, and I feel that is extremely helpful. I use it a lot now with my clients. I feel that it's interesting because there's like a merge there of listening to your inner wisdom. It's just done in a different way, which is the work that I do. That's why I like it so much. But I feel it's a little bit more tangible for people, because people sometimes don't understand this inner wisdom, or they can't hear anything or whatnot. There's a lot of barriers there because we're still not completely trusting.
Yeah.
So I feel like the work of Byron Katie, which is really discerning and looking at your thoughts. So what brings me back real quick, which I did with my husband, is like, is this really true? What I'm thinking and believing right now. And usually it's yes. It's like, oh my God, I really believe that this is true. I really believe this is happening. My mom right now is going through some health issues, and it feels very real to me. Mm-hmm. But when I start to look at what I'm thinking and believing, which is actually the cause of my suffering, remember we were talking about cause and effect. Yeah. So my mom's illness is not causing my suffering. What I'm thinking and believing about my mother is what's causing me my suffering. Okay. So there's never really a problem. The problem begins with your thoughts and what you're valuing. So that's what you can do, is like sit still and be like, okay, what are the thoughts here that I'm having? So I'm thinking that my mom's going to die. I'm thinking that my mom's going to pass away any second. I'm thinking about how do I handle the funeral and the thing and the money and when she dies, like, this is my thoughts. When she dies, like, how does she leave the apartment? Like, how does that, we're like all these thoughts, right? So that's how I get when I think about this. I get like anxiety, sadness. So then the next step is I say to myself, well, what if I didn't have this thought? What if I didn't have this thought that I can't handle my mom's death? Because that's really the thought. Let's say I didn't have that thought. Well, if I didn't have that thought, I would be here with you right now. I wouldn't be thinking about that. I would have freedom. I would be trusting. I would love her, and just be whatever it is right now. She is alive right now, actually. Trusting and knowing that whenever it gets to that point, all the resources will show up on how that is, even what that even looks like. So do you see the contrast there?
Fully.
And all I did I change my mother? No, I didn't change the circumstance. All I did was come back to the source of the suffering, which is Maria la Loca.
Wonderful. I like how you, how it comes back to checking the reality, being honest and checking what's real and what can be happening when we just see the reality for what it is. What's possible then? How much more love is possible then, or how much more can we act from a place of love? And how and I agree that the emotions are then kind of, they can start settling a little bit. And it took me a long time to figure out that a lot of my emotions were actually being caused by my thinking or by my thoughts that were kind of going on and that were distracting. So I think the way it's really round, the way you describe the Byron Katie approach with the questioning yourself, and also feeling when coming from a place of love. So how can people, I think you have a beautiful way to, guide people, and how can people connect to you? I think you're also offering a gift here, a free one. So what would you recommend people do if they want to connect to you more directly? Because I think you can guide people very well, and you're so, I feel like I'm already in a good mood just talking to you, and you're
Aw.
real. You're just the real thing, I think. So that's I would love people to connect to you. What would
Yeah.
you recommend doing?
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. In my website, mariafelipe.org, I have a lot of resources there on the resource page, free and paid programs. One of the great ways I feel that we can go deeper is working one-on-one together. I have a lot of beautiful souls I work with
Mhm.
on a monthly basis, sometimes twice a month. And we really go deep on really understanding that the power to heal is within you. And it's incredible. And there's so much results, just like kind of how you're feeling. It's just, I can feel the contrast of when I start with the hour with my sessions, and then after, we just really look at what I like to call these big deals. We really look at the barriers to love. We really look at the suffering, and how can this be different. And even with anxiety, like I have a lot of clients that I'm working with now that have anxiety. I never thought I would be doing that, but
Mhm.
I'm very sensitive, I'm very emotional, and I tune in, and I come from a space, and I was telling this to my husband, and it gives me goosebumps, is like I come from a space of experiencing anxiety. I come from a space of feeling down in the dumps. Like I'm not talking out of my you know butt here. It's like
Right.
I have lived this, so I know the other side of it. And it lights me up when I'm able to sit with someone that's really suffering and be like, oh my God, there is another way here. Like, let's
Mhm.
do this together, brother, sister, whoever you are. So that's a really great way. And actually, this year is when I really started to dive deep into that. I was more speaking before,
Yeah.
but now I'm really helping people one-on-one to
One.
wake up
Mhm.
more to the truth of their reality. And the free offer that I'm giving is incredible. It's called the 7-day True Happiness Challenge. So the 7 days, basically, you get to understand what is really happiness, what is true happiness, what does that even look like, and it goes really deep into what we're talking about here, which is listening to spirit and receiving answers. So every day there's a challenge to bring you closer to your own answers. So that's going to be offered here on this platform for free. So you guys would have access to that. So that's a great way also to do my work
Mhm.
and to get to know me better and how I can support you in any way.
Wonderful. Thank you. So,
You're
well, of
welcome.
course, we'll put it below the interview. There will be a link. And is there anything we haven't touched on? Anything you want to add, or any message do you want to people to know that we haven't given out yet?
Oh, as much as cliche as this sounds, we're so loved. And if this interview can just remind you of how loved we are and how loved you are, regardless of all the cuckoo-ness, and I always say in my book, caca that we think, you guys know what that is?
Hmm.
All this
Hmm.
stuff that we think, regardless of that, um, there's so much more than that. And if I can just remind people of that consistently, of there's the opposite of what we've been thinking and believing till now is a huge breakthrough in freedom. So I bless you all, and I bless myself because I'm just one with you and excited about this journey together.
That's wonderful. Those are great closing words. So thank you so much, Maria Felipe, for your time. Thank you for your great energy and for your work that you're doing. And I hope a lot of people reach out, and
Thank
I
you.
know you can help.
Also, I forgot to
Hmm.
say the book is available. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Very
live you're
helpful.
happy.
It's available on Amazon and
Yeah.
also on my website. I feel it's like 132 pages, and all the questions you've been asking me today, they just goes really deeper into that. Like what is the voice of love? What is the voice of fear? And how to really distinguish it and how to live true happiness. So yeah, highly recommend it. Not just because it's my book, but because it really helps with reducing suffering. And any way that I could contribute to that, amen, 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 amen.
That's great. That's great that you're part of the summit. And I think this is a big piece, a very beautiful piece. So thank you so much for your time, and hope to continue the conversation at some other point in time, or some other
Yeah.
summit or interview.
Yes, thank you, sweetheart.
Okay, Maria. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.